Welcome to Overcoming Obstacles and Rekindling Romance. Who doesn't want more romance in their life? Well, I'm Connie Durham with The Extraordinary Marriage, and I like to say when you first get married, you love everything about your spouse, but eventually you start getting on one another's nerves. Well, in the beginning of a relationship, we're all like giving our best. We want that person that we're dating to be interested in us. We pay attention to what is interesting to them. But eventually, when we get married, we let our guard down and we become ourselves. And that's when a few challenges can begin. For some people, there's really, really big challenges. It might be from their family background. It might be from their personality style. Maybe you married your opposite, or you're literally bumping heads all the time. You both want to make all the decisions. So you have to begin to recognize what the problem is. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. So once you recognize it, then you can resolve it. Until you recognize what's causing trouble and you admit it and you confront it, you cannot resolve it. And so that's what we're looking at today, because then you can reset your marriage. No matter how much trouble you're having now, or no matter how much you're bumping heads, you can reset your marriage. Now, everything takes time. Nothing is instant, and we do like instant, don't we? It's not instant. So you're going to have to stay with me if you want some answers. Well, the first area is awareness. Once we start to become aware of what is, withdrawing from our love bank, then we can start to see differences in our marriage. You got to identify what's causing trouble, because every challenge, every fuss that you have with your spouse, every disagreement takes just a little bit from your love bank. And if you think about a bank, you have to make more deposits into the bank to be able to withdraw money. You can't withdraw more money in that bank than is there. So I want you to think about your love bank in the same way. What causes challenges? Different values, traditions, beliefs. Are you thinking of some things? It might be birthday differences. It might be holiday differences. It might be your faith. It might be what you believe is right. They can be different. I always say it's important to learn to meet in the middle. Another thing is personality differences. That is where, when you marry your opposite, you literally constantly withdraw from your love bank. I teach on that in several different places. One of the new workshop that's coming up is rediscovering your spouse, learning who they are, learning about yourself, and learning how to bring those personalities together so that you can learn to get along. Another thing that causes a lot of problem is gaslighting. I mean, we see this everywhere, from little kids, from teenagers, to marriage, to politics, to the world. Gaslighting. And that means blaming whatever you're doing on someone else. Like, I'm doing this and I'm blaming it on you. Yeah, like tearing down the other person. Having awareness in these things helps you understand that it's not always about you. I mean, we take things really personal. We feel like things are about us. I'm causing trouble, or I'm weak, or whatever it is. But we can only act out what we've seen, heard, and observed. So I want you to stop and think about your family. What kind of behavior? How did your parents treat each other? Did you have two parents? Did you have to go back and forth between two houses? Did you have an easygoing parent, an on edge parent? We can only act out what we've seen, what we've heard, and what we've observed. So think about that for yourself first, and think about that for your spouse. This is the place that you start. The next thing is you start to learn to resolve those challenges. You learn to, if you want something more, you must do something different than you've been doing. You want to openly talk about your past and find the root causes. You want to learn to meet in the middle. It's not always my way or the highway. We have to listen to each other so that we can meet in the middle, so we can understand what our spouse needs. so they can understand what we need. Here's one of those for me because yes, I'm a talker, but I have had to learn to listen and sometimes just hold my mouth, use the zipper, zip my lips, and just listen. Listen as much as you talk. And if you're one of those people who don't share openly, your spouse cannot read your mind. You have to open up and share. I used to be one of those who wouldn't share what I was frustrated with, what I was kind of angry about, what I needed. I didn't share. And I just about broke up with my now husband of 45 years. We about broke up because I wasn't open and wouldn't share. And my mom put me on the spot and told my boyfriend at that time as he came in, "Hey, Connie's got something she needs to share with you," because she knew I was getting ready to break up with him. I'm so glad she did butt in that one time. She didn't do it all the time. Thank goodness she did it then. But we want to learn to identify your pros and your cons and your personality. Every couple has their own ups and downs. Each person has their talents, what they're great at, where they give. And each one of us has that place that we withdraw from that love bank, whether we think we do or not. We want to learn in our marriage to use the golden rule. I want to treat you the way I want to be treated. So if I'm yelling at you, do I want you to yell at me? No. If I'm impatient with you, do I want you to be impatient with me? No. If I'm all over you for throwing your stuff on the counter, do I want you to judge me when I throw my stuff in another spot? No. So we want to use the golden rule. I want you to go back to the manners you used when you were dating. Oh, don't we have the best manners when we're dating? We are thoughtful and kind and patient. Go back to those manners. Think about that. What was that like? Find a relationship coach or counselor if you're really having trouble. And that's what I actually do. I am a relationship coach using the human behavior styles, personality styles, and it matters way more than you think about it. It's literally a trickle down effect. You get your marriage going well, you can use these behavior styles in your work, you can use them with your kids, you can use them with your friends, and you begin to understand people and be able to work better with them, not judge them, to appreciate them. This is what I teach. Once you've done these other two things, now you can begin to practice what you want to see. You can reset your relationship by filling your love bank. Because think again, if you are doing things constantly or your spouse is doing things constantly, that withdrawal from your love bank, they take your energy. It sucks the life out of you. Those are definitely withdrawals. And I realized a while back, having a challenge with a person that fills your love bank all the time, they can withdraw once in a while. But if they're always withdrawing and never, filling the tank, adding into the bank account, love bank account, then eventually it's just over. And that's why we have so many divorces. So let's look at this. You want to fill your love bank by using a loving tone of voice, a kind tone of voice. Golden rule. How do I want to be talked to? Let me talk to my spouse that way. You want to practice patience. Now, there are two personality styles that are really impatient. Yeah, you probably know who you are right now, don't you? And there are those who are very patient. Some of us are patient with fixing things. That's my husband. I am very patient, usually with people, but practicing patience. It's easy for some of us, and it's not so easy for some of us. Learning to enjoy conversations together. This usually fills one person or the other's love bank. So if you don't like to have conversations, practice. Fake it till you make it, right? Practice having conversations because how can you and your spouse get to know each other better if you're not having conversations? You want to enjoy one another. You want to have date nights. Take some time out for yourself. I am reading a book. It's talking about his needs and her needs. He constantly says every couple needs 15 hours of time together every week. And no, it doesn't count when you're asleep, right? So that means maybe having breakfast together, dinner together, sitting and talking after the kids have gone to bed, all different kind of things. 15 hours a week. You know, what you water and fertilize will grow, right? And if you have a lot of conflict in your marriage, find a funny word. Find a funny word to use when everything is going awry, the conflict, the tensions being elevated, it's getting thick in the room because of one reason or another. Find a funny word to say like pink hair. And that means we need to stop and we need to think about what we're talking about. Are we talking about something that even matters that much? So many fusses are over something that doesn't really matter. Sometimes it pertains to one or the other's mood, and they're wanting to blast somebody. Another funny word, polar bear or monkey. All right, understand what your spouse needs and wants. Yes, you have needs and wants, but when you sit down and have a conversation about their needs and wants, their vision for life, then also they hear your needs and wants. These are important things to deposit in your love bank. You can catch an hour with me privately. Uh, and let me leave my little picture so I can see ways you can connect with me. Let me start over on that. Catch an hour with me and explore privately ways you can connect better with your spouse. I have a 1 hour. It is fresh insights. That's going to be $29 starting in November. And I sit down with you and you talk and I listen and I will offer you some direction and some encouragement. All right. And that's like a first appointment with me. Fresh insights. All right. I'm Connie Durham with The Extraordinary Marriage, and I'm so glad you have joined me on this podcast. Be sure and stay with me each and every week. Subscribe so you don't miss anything. Everyone wants an extraordinary marriage.